Hey everyone, my name is Arwa and I'm the founder of Heal Physical Therapy, a mobile physical therapy and wellness practice in the San Francisco Bay Area. My goal is to help older adults overcome the fear of falling so that they can continue to live an active and a healthy lifestyle. I mainly work with the geriatric clients. So most of my clients are either living alone or they live with an elderly spouse or have children who live out of town or who may be working. They often ask me questions about how do I find a caregiver or what to look for during the hiring process or what questions to ask during the interview. So today I wanted to bring in an expert in the field, the amazing and very talented Michelle Morgan, who is the Director of Operations at Senior Helpers in San Mateo, California. She brings in a wealth of knowledge through her experiences working with seniors and in the field of home care. So, welcome, Michelle, and thank you so much for joining us today. Uh, Michelle, go ahead and give a little bit about a background about yourself and how you got into this field, working with seniors and in home care.
Okay. Yes, thank you for having me. I have worked in the field of home care for a long time. I actually got my start in this industry through personal experience with family members. And I was my great aunt's caregiver, who she suffered from dementia and schizophrenia. So while in college, I studied gerontology, and that just drew me more into this industry. And so now I've been working at Senior Helpers for almost 7 years.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So.
So what does day to day look like for you at Senior Helpers?
Well, day to day, I mean, we're just trying to, go about the day of getting, great caregivers on board that we can place for our wonderful clients and keep them all happy. So we work very diligently to, screening applicants, and, matching them with our clients so that they really have a great bond with each other. That's most important to us.
That's amazing. Yeah, building that trust and
Yeah.
bonding, right? Yep, yep. So how to begin the search when looking for your ideal caregiver, or where should one start with?
Well, I mean, when you're looking for a caregiver, I mean, of course, we advertise online, just like everybody else these days. A lot of people apply for jobs that way. So we post ads out in the industry. We do not discriminate against people who do not have experience. So there are a lot of people in this industry who just have the passion to work with seniors or also have experiences with their own family members as well. That is relates to what we do. So we actually provide a lot of training in our office. And the main thing that we're looking for when we're looking for a caregiver is somebody who has that desire or that heart to work with seniors.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, wow. So mainly look on online platforms or through word of mouth when someone's looking for caregivers for themselves.
Yeah, we get referrals from our existing caregivers. We also do work with a lot of schools in the area as well. There's different nursing programs, CNA schools, geriatric programs. So we also look for people in those fields as well.
That's great. Awesome. Okay. And I think you mentioned a little bit about this. Could you elaborate, like, what qualities exactly does a caregiver should have, like, while getting into this field, or what qualities is a client looking for when hiring a caregiver?
So, I mean, I think the main things we're looking for, besides the desire to want to work with seniors, is that they're flexible. That's very important because the needs can change. So, somebody who's flexible, somebody who has good communication skills, because they may have to communicate with doctors or family members or different things like that. We also expect our caregivers to be submitting documentation, so they need to be able to, monitor such things and report. And then also we do look at skill set and the ability to train them, right? So if somebody's missing some sort of skill, we do want them to be open-minded to learning how to do that.
Right. Yes. So open-mindedness and good communication skills, good listener, able to document, and being the eyes and ears for the family members, right?
Exactly.
And to be able to potentially do doctor visits with them if needed. What kind of tasks can a caregiver help with? We talked about doctor visits, but what other kind of tasks can they do?
So, caregivers can do a wide variety of things. It depends on the client's need. Besides assisting them with their day-to-day activities, dressing, bathing, they can do light housekeeping, they can prepare meals, they can do all the grocery shopping, running errands, things like that. But also, too, I think one thing people forget is that they can also be a good companion. So they can help to get seniors active within their communities, taking them to social events, and then also just doing activities with them, playing cards, games, going maybe to see a movie, going to the theater or an art museum, or, anything that they maybe used to do, but they're not able to do so much, now. So. We've had caregivers who assist with pet care.
Nice.
We've had caregivers who have assisted with relocations of clients moving. And so we've gone in and helped the client pack up their things and move to a new place. I don't know. We pretty much the client
all the tasks. Yes. Yeah, so do you guys have special programs for people with dementia or Parkinson's disease or Alzheimer's?
We do. So we have a program that's called Senior Gems. It's developed by Tipa Snow, specifically for senior helpers. So we are the only ones who are using this program. We provide this training to our caregivers, and basically what it is she took gemstones and she matched them up to the different levels of dementia, and to make it easier to kind of identify that person and the things that you need to be looking out for when that person is in that stage of that disease. So, and also goes through and really shows you what happens to the person as they're going through dementia, how the brain is changing, physically changing, and the things that are happening to that person because of those physical changes. So it's a very powerful program, very, very helpful. And our caregivers enjoy it quite a bit, and they really find it helpful. So we're able to assess our clients by the gym level and then train our caregivers according to that. So they're in the same place. Also, it helps us to develop meaningful activities around that person during that stage of their disease. So letting us know the things that they're still able to do and focus on that rather than can't do.
That's awesome. Yeah, just focusing on their abilities. Yeah, that's awesome. Yep. Nice.
And we also do have a Parkinson's program, which Senior Helpers Office offers. Our particular office is still in the process of getting up and running with that program, but that is something we will be offering here in the future, near future, for our caregivers.
Nice.
Training in Parkinson's as well.
That's amazing. So is this service reimbursed by insurance?
So in general, the service is not reimbursed by insurance. There are insurance that are called long-term care insurance, and those insurance will usually pay for our services. Usually the requirement, though, is that the person does need some sort of physical assistance, whether it be with dressing, bathing, ambulation. So that is an option. If somebody has long-term care insurance, they absolutely will reimburse for the service. And we'll submit all the documentation needed on their behalf for that.
Awesome. Okay, so you'll help with the documentation process and everything. Okay.
Yeah. And then the other program that we work with is through the VA or the Veterans Administration. So we do work with them and get reimbursed for services for our veterans as well.
Nice. That's awesome. Do you guys have caregiver services in the assisted living facilities?
Yes, absolutely. So in assisted living, they're not always able to provide all the one-on-one attention that's needed for a resident. So we absolutely can send a caregiver into any sort of assisted living or independent living facility as well to assist with those ADLs.
Nice. So somebody who's needing a private caregiver besides the assistance that they're getting over there.
Yes, absolutely. And we'll partner with that organization. And, they usually require some sort of paperwork on the caregiver's behalf, and we make sure that that's all set up ahead of time.
Amazing. Okay, awesome. Thank you. What are some of the benefits of working with a certified caregiving company versus a private caregiver?
So your main benefit is that you have somebody who's supervising that person. So they're not just out there on their own doing whatever. So we actually have a dedicated caregiver manager who manages our staff. We have people who are going into the home to make sure that the care is being provided according to the care plan. And so the client doesn't need to manage that on a day-to-day, or the families don't have to worry about, is the caregiver actually doing what they're supposed to. We also, the other main thing is that, all of our caregivers, we make sure that they go through a process where they are registered with the state of California as a home care aide. They've been fully background checked, being submitted through the Department of Justice and the FBI, as where a caregiver working privately is not required to register with the state of California. They can just work on their own. They don't have to be background checked. Our caregivers are also insured and bonded. So if something were to happen, they would be covered. So, if there was an injury in the home or something like that, our insurance would make sure that was taken care of, as well as workers' compensation if the caregiver was injured on the job. If you're paying a private caregiver, then unfortunately you're liable for those things. So those are really the main benefits, besides the fact that if you are submitting to long-term care or something like that, yes, I'd much rather with an agency than with a private caregiver.
You'd have to do all of the work on your own, right? Yeah. And then also, like you mentioned, injury at work, right? Like say if they were helping somebody out of bed and they injured their back, which happens many a times, right? So that, having that security of workers' comp and covered. Yeah, totally.
And also too, we make sure our caregivers are trained, so to try to limit.
Right, definitely. Yeah. You guys are you guys like having monthly trainings on the different topics you cover, or what they're expected at the job, or is it more like as what's expected from what the client's expectations are?
So we do a training with our caregivers at orientation for transferring and ambulation, so that we make sure they at least have that basic skill set down. That's really the most dangerous activity is not being able to transfer properly. So we want to limit that right away. And then we do regular ongoing trainings. It's usually kind of as needed, depending on what the skill set of that person is. Sometimes we'll do it one-on-one. Sometimes we'll do it as a group.
Right.
So, and then we do regular GEMS training with our caregivers for dementia.
Yeah, right. Okay, awesome. And then what areas do you cover? Do you cover the entire San Mateo County, or are there any specific areas?
Yeah, so our agency, we provide services all the way from San Francisco to Sunnyvale, the entire peninsula. But there are also multiple senior helpers locations all around the Bay Area as well. So between our whole organization, I think we pretty much cover it all.
Yeah, nice. Okay. So wide geographical area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how many caregivers do you have right now?
We usually have about 60 caregivers on board at one time. So, but we're always trying to grow and get more.
Right. Yeah, and it's hard to find good people, right? So
It is, and especially today, it is quite challenging. Yeah.
yeah. So are there any minimum number of hours that a client has to, be able to reserve or book in order to get started?
So for our agency, we don't implement any sort of, we can do anywhere from 1 hour a day to 24 hours a day. And it could be 1 hour a week, even. So there's no weekly minimums or anything like that. We have a pricing structure where, services that are less hours, they do cost a little bit more. But we can pretty much help anytime, any amount of time.
That's great. Yeah, because a lot of times people don't need so many hours. So it's good that you guys provide that flexibility. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, and some people, they don't need somebody sitting around in their house. So
Right. They just need someone to help them with groceries or errands. And yeah. Do the caregivers help with medication management? Or like if they needed to prepare the medications and put them in the pill box and for the clients to just take them?
So, because we are a non-medical agency, we're not allowed to set up the pill box. What we can do is, if the client's still able to on their own, the caregiver can assist the client to do it themselves by reading the labels on the bottle and telling them, which pills go in which day. But we're not actually allowed to handle the medication from the pill bottle. We can do reminders though. So if the pill boxes are set up, then we can remind, and we can even like take that day's medicine, put it in a cup, and give it to the client. We do also work with other agencies that can do that for us, so we can help to coordinate medication management for that client. Where we will come and set it up for them. They could do it like once a month, and there are also a lot of pharmacies that will do this service for free as well. So.
And one of my last questions, what if for some reason, like a client doesn't get along with the personality of the caregiver or they don't like somebody? Um, yeah.
Yeah, that does happen. Usually we do an initial assessment with the client, so we can get an idea of their personality, and we do try to make a good fit. And usually we do a pretty good job, but occasionally that person doesn't work out, and the client just needs to let us know, and we're happy to make a change. That's not really an issue at all.
Okay. Awesome. So first the assessment is done by a manager and then the caregivers are sent in.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Got it. Are there any events where there are like two caregivers seeing the same client?
Yeah, sometimes depending on the amount of days and hours that the client requires, there may be multiple caregivers. You have somebody who's requiring 24-hour care 7 days a week, then there's going to be multiple caregivers. We do try to place as little as caregivers as possible, but depending on the schedule,
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for answering all these questions. That was really helpful. Really appreciate you being here. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Again, my name is Arwa, and I'm the founder of Heal Physical Therapy, and I help people live the best version of themselves. Please like the video if you found the content helpful, and subscribe to my channel. And comment below if you have any questions or concerns. Thank you for watching, and thank you so much, Michelle, for being here.
Thank you for having me.